Good evening, Catamounts. My name is Brad.
And my name is Chad. This is the 2023 Halloween special presented by WeTV Catamount Entertainment.
Catamounts, we are so excited you're here tonight. We have a very interesting lineup for you. Chad, what is your favorite part of Halloween?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked, Brad. It's got to be Halloween, the music, the parties, even indulging in candy. It's a great time, and I'm really looking forward to it coming up. What about you, Brad? What's your favorite part?
I've just always loved the trick-or-treating, getting candy, full-size candy bars from those houses. It's also Advising Day this Halloween, so we have almost a whole 5-day Halloween weekend. We're going crazy this weekend, so but I really like getting to see everybody's costumes, everybody dressing up, and what else?
And I think the best part about it is the WeTV Halloween special.
It's got to be the best part for sure. Next, our host Daniel has a fun game for us.
Shh, we're in a library.
Hi, my name is Daniel Reed, and this is the Silent Library. Here's how it works. I pass out these pieces of paper, and whoever gets dealt the red paper gets a strange challenge they have to do while remaining completely silent. Here are our guests, starting with this lovely gentleman.
Hi, my name's Andrew.
My name's Will.
I'm Dylan.
I'm Dom.
I'm Sean.
And I'm Micah.
Awesome. Great to have you all here, and I hope that you guys are prepared to be tortured. So let's distribute these, shake up our hat. Oh, that's definitely the bad card. So have at it, piggies. All right, has everyone got a piece of paper? All right, now you can unfold them, and on 3, we're going to reveal them. All right, has everyone got your piece of paper unfolded? Dom, you look like you're working down there. All right, we unfolded? All right, 1, 2, 3. All right, a check. And you are tonight's big loser. All right, that brings us to our first challenge. All right, so we are live from outside of the studio, and I'm joined by our sadistic producer, Deanna, who, as I see, you're Swifty. So you take a lot of pleasure in enacting harm upon these defenseless, poor white men. Can you describe the emotions you're feeling as you prepare to, discipline this man?
I'm really excited.
How do you feel to be punished by a Swifty?
I feel like I'm in danger, and I can't really help myself. So, let's go for it.
Awesome. All right, let's see it. Wow, that was devastating. Deanna, how do you feel? You got a little backsplash in there.
Very happy with what I just did.
Would Taylor approve?
Yes.
How do you feel?
Refreshed.
In what way?
I feel like I've been born again. Is it good?
You taste pretty good.
Appreciate that.
All right. Well, that was our first round, and we're going back.
Well, that was Silent Library. We hope you enjoyed our first round of Silent Library. Chad, why don't you tell us a little bit about where this came from and why we're doing Silent Library today?
Of course, Brad. So Silent Library was a TV show that they used to have on the Game Show Network. And it was a big hit, and it was a very low budget thing. Basically, you were in a library, and you had to complete these tasks and be absolutely quiet. As you can probably see, the contestant really wasn't too quiet. So, but yeah, that's pretty much how it started, and I'm glad that we could adapt it into our little newscast here.
Yeah, we've used it as part of our newscast for other variety shows like Christmas and part of other projects. So it's been a really fun way for us to incorporate some games into our variety show.
Mm-hmm. And we've been doing it for what, about a year now?
Yeah. Probably, so we're getting excited. I'm sure you'll see more of Silent Library in the Christmas special, in our other specials next year. So now we're going to transition to Kyle, our man on the street. He asked students about their favorite Halloween movies. Let's take a look.
Hey, it's Kyle Twain. I'm asking students what's their favorite Halloween movie. My name is Michael, and I with the Grinch. Heavy. I think the Polar Express is a solid take. My name's Johnny.
My name's Michael, and my favorite Halloween movie is Scream. First one.
My name's Max, and my favorite Halloween movie is Halloween. That's a movie. My name is Philip Angel. I don't really have a favorite Halloween movie, but my favorite, I guess, scary show is The Twilight Zone.
All right, I don't know what that is, but that's what's up.
My name's Kayla, and my favorite Halloween movie is Scream.
My name is Nick, and my favorite Halloween movie is Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Fire.
Oh, my name is Isaac Falconberry, and my favorite Halloween movie has to be Alien vs. Predator.
It's Maggie. My favorite Halloween movies would be probably the Conjuring movies.
Okay.
My name's Cindy Garrison, and my favorite Halloween movie is probably Hotel Transylvania. They're all just really funny people.
My favorite Halloween movie has got to be Nightmare on Elm Street, the original one from 1980s. To watch last year, which was Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
1 out of 10, how good is this?
It's at least 8.5. 8.5. Thing is exquisite. The Winnie the Pooh's kind of jacked. He's kind of hot.
Wait, this ain't a romance movie.
Doesn't have to be. Okay. You just gotta give me a.
You know, there are a bunch of monsters living in this hotel, and they're all just goofing around. They're all bunch of goobers, you know? That's why I like it so much, because I'm a goober too. So that's why I like to live by. I'm a goober.
What's that about?
So basically, have you ever seen any of the Xenomorph movies, or saw Predator, any of the Predator movies?
I've seen Lego movies and stuff like that.
And one landed on Earth in Antarctica, and they drilled a hole, humans drilled a hole in the movie and found it. He got resurrected, and then now it's this big bloodbath of let's go kill some aliens.
You know what that sounds like?
What?
Transformers.
Fair.
It sounds like Transformers, or
but
Superman.
with yeah, honestly, I
Yeah,
can see that.
yeah.
I could definitely see that.
He landed in Antarctica, so does Transformers count as a Halloween movie? You think that counts?
I mean, Die Hard's a Christmas movie, so I don't see why not.
Fair.
There's love. There's a lot of love in that movie. I love love.
Is that that's a Halloween movie, right?
Yeah.
A romantic Halloween movie, or is it a
it's funny, but it's romantic too, because there's a monster trying to love a human, and they're like, man, I don't know about that. And then
You're not even. He's talking and you
I know,
can't.
I've lost. He lost me.
Wait. Wow, great stuff. That brings to my attention that one of the best parts about the Halloween season isn't the candy or the parties or trick-or-treating. It's actually probably the horror movies. What are some of your favorite movies, Brad?
My favorite movies, I'm actually not a big horror movie person, but I really like Scary Movie and Scream. Scream was a popular one with Kyle, so yeah. What about you?
Love the Scream series. I really like the new Scream movie that came out. But yeah, that's about it. And then...
Yeah, so does your family watch horror movies? How do you feel?
And speaking of scary movies, here's our very own Ryan Mullis giving us some great speaker recommendations this Halloween.
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Catamounts. It's that spooky time of the year again, and whether you're out partying or hanging out with friends, might I suggest a couple of films on Halloween night? You see, I have been watching a lot of great Halloween-related and horror films through all sorts of decades throughout October, and today I have dwindled it down to a top 5 recommendation list. But before we get into the list proper, here are a few honorable mentions. So if you're looking for a decent slasher with a lot of fun kills, I would suggest the original 1980 Friday the 13th. If you're looking for something a bit more lighthearted and comedic with a distinct Halloween feel, I would suggest the 1974 Mel Brooks film Young Frankenstein. And if you're looking for just a great costume movie, I would definitely suggest the 2003 Pirates of the Caribbean Cursed of the Black Pearl. Now, without further ado, let's dive in to the other recommendations. Now, the first film is a personal favorite of mine. At number 5, I have the 1977 Japanese horror film House, partly inspired by the director's daughter and what she found scary. This film is a very wild, zany, and loose when it comes to its scares, and the scares are equal parts hilarious and terrifying. If you haven't watched this movie before, I would highly recommend you do it this Halloween, because it'll leave you with something. Now, my number 4 selection on this list is the modern classic by Wes Craven, 1996 Scream, released that year during the dire straits of the slasher genre. Wes Craven managed to breathe new life through this film. It's an incredible piece of metafiction, one that plays with a lot of the conventions and cliches that you often find in horror films, especially slashers. It's an absolute classic. I imagine you watched it already, but it's a joy to watch for anyone. But if you're a horror fanatic, this is essential viewing. My number 3 selection on this list, and yeah, I know, it's a Halloween recommendation list, but it's Halloween, 1978 by John Carpenter. It's Halloween. It's the godfather of the 80s slasher, and it's still an incredibly well-made film to this day. A lot of its suspense comes from how human the threat is of Michael Myers. He's so imposing, but you can't get into his head, really. You were probably planning on watching this one anyway. I'm certain it's a classic Halloween staple, but watch it again for this list. This recommendation, that's my number 3. At number 2, I have an absolute classic film for you all. It is Alfred Hitchcock's 1960s Psycho. Now, this was one of the most intense movies ever released at the time because it broke so many conventions of cinema that we kind of just know today as kind of conventions of the genre. There was twists and iconic scenes, especially the shower scene. Anthony Perkins is amazing as Norman Bates, and it's just a perfect example of why Alfred Hitchcock was just a master of suspense. So go ahead and throw on Psycho once again. I imagine a lot of us have seen it, but do it this Halloween. And my number 1 selection, yet again, another personal choice, it's The Exorcist. The scariest movie of all time. Well, no, it's not. It's a 50-year-old movie. There have been scarier films. But what it still is a classic piece of cinema that I absolutely adore. It is an absolutely well-made movie that is equal parts a horror and a drama. And even though it's not the scariest movie of all time anymore, it's still very effective considering how grounded the film is just presented. William Friedkin made this movie in such a realistic way. It almost feels like a documentary. And other than that, it has great makeup, the acting is amazing, and it has Tubular Bells. It's an incredible song, and it's used so well in the movie, although it's very brief. But go watch The Exorcist. It's one of the finest films of all time. It has grown into one of my personal favorite horror films of all time. It's an absolute classic. Well, that concludes my list. I hope you folks have a lot of great recommendations, and remember to stay safe and have a happy Halloween. Now, back to our host.
Thanks so much, Ryan, for your recommendations. What do you think is your favorite of those 5?
Oh, I mean, he listed so many good movies, but I mean, I feel like the best one is Halloween. Like, it's Halloween.
I really like Halloween Town and Hocus Pocus, but shh, we're back in the library.
Hey, welcome back to the Silent Library for round 2. The challenge for this round is eating the Up Calf Sink Special, handcrafted by our very own Mason Felton. And I guess I might as well show off the goods. We got everything on here. And wow, does it smell great. Doesn't that look appetizing, gentlemen? Don't say anything or you lose. Anyway, let's go ahead and kick it off with our routine hat card dump. All right, gentlemen, starting folding. Have you guys got it? Can I get some nods? Yeah? Dylan, you look beautiful over there, just so you know. All right, gentlemen. I'm going to start from 3 and go down to 1 this time. 3, 2, 1. And it seems that you get this delicacy here. But first... All right. We just needed some continuity. All right. So, how do you feel first?
Not great.
Not great?
No.
Yeah. Are you sure that the whipped cream didn't make it better?
I'm sure. Some sprinkles would have helped.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to leave that all up to you, big man.
Solid.
What would you rate that? Out of 10?
8.
About the average courtyard experience. All right. Well, gentlemen, would you guys like to have a taste? No? Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty proud of that segment. Well, that's it for this round. We'll join you back later for our final round, but back to you, Chad and Brad.
Well, that was something I could never do.
That sandwich looked atrocious.
Chad, so I heard through the grapevine that you might have had a hand in making this sandwich. Tell us what was on it.
So, all amazing things that you can get at Upcalf. We had a veggie burger, a slice of pizza, some raisin bran, some gravy, some yogurt, and then on top of that there was like some ranch, some mayo, soy sauce, hot sauce, barbecue sauce, all the essentials in a balanced, breakfast.
That is something else. I'm surprised our contestant could even stomach that. So he's better than I am.
Yeah, I know that did not taste good.
Yeah. So, that's how you play the game. So.
But I think they did really good that round. They all remained pretty silent. Let's just hope that they can finish the game strong and take home a win.
Yeah. Because our last challenge is the spookiest. Not going to tell you what it is, but it does get worse from here.
Mm-hmm.
So let's be prepared for that. We have some more spooky surprises coming up for you guys tonight. To make this night even more spooky, our very own Hope Chelman reading The Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe.
It's true. Yes, I've been ill, very ill. But why would you say that I've lost control of my mind? Can you not see that I have full control of my mind? Is it not clear that I'm not mad? Indeed, the illness only made my mind, my feelings, my senses stronger, more powerful. My sense of hearing especially became more powerful. I could hear sounds I never heard before. I heard sounds from heaven. I heard sounds from hell. Listen, listen, and I will tell you how it happened. You will see, you will hear how healthy my mind is. It is impossible to say how the idea first entered my head. There was no reason for what I did. I did not hate the old man. I even loved him. He had never hurt me. I did not want his money. I think it was his eye. His eye was the eye of a vulture. The eye of one of those terrible birds that watch and wait while an animal dies and then fall upon the dead body and pull it piece by piece to eat it. When the old man looked at me with his vulture eyes, a cold feeling went up and down my spine. My blood became cold. And so, I finally decided I had to kill the old man and close that eye forever. So you think I'm mad? A madman cannot plan. But you could have seen me. During all of that week, I was as friendly to the old man as I could have been, and warm and loving. Every night, about 12 o'clock, I slowly opened his door. And when the door was opened wide enough, I put my hand in, and then my head. In my hand, I held a light covered with a cloth so that no light showed. And I stood there quietly. Then carefully, I lifted the cloth just a little so that a single, thin, small light fell across that eye. For 7 nights I did this, 7 long nights. Every night at midnight, always the eye was closed. So it was impossible for me to do the work. For it was not the old man I felt I had to kill. It was the eye, his evil eye. And every morning I went to his room, and with a warm and friendly voice I asked him how he slept. And he could not guess that every night, just at 12, I looked in at him as he slept. The 8th night, I was more than usually careful as I opened the door. The hands of a clock moved more quickly than did my hands. Never before had I felt so strongly in my power. I was now sure of success. The old man was lying there, not dreaming as I was at his door. Suddenly he moved in his bed. You may think I became afraid, but no, the darkness in his room was thick and black. I knew he could not see the opening of the door. I continued to push the door slowly, softly. I put it in my head. I put it in my hand with the covered light. Suddenly the old man sat straight up in the bed and cried, "Who's there?" I stood quite still. For a whole hour I did not move, nor did I hear him lie again down in his bed. He just sat there, listening. Then I heard a sound, a low cry of fear which escaped from the old man. Now I knew he was sitting in his bed, filled with fear. I knew that he knew I was there. He did not see me there. He could not hear me there. He felt me there. Now he knew that death was standing there. Slowly, little by little, I lifted the cloth until a small light escaped from under it and fell upon that vulture eye. It was open, wide open, and my anger increased as it looked straight at me. I could not see the old man's face, only that eye, that hard blue eye, and then the blood in my body became like ice. Have I not told you that my hearing had become unusually strong? Now I could hear a quick, low, soft sound like the sound of a clock heard through a wall. It was the beating of the old man's heart. I tried to stand quietly, but the sound grew louder. The man's fear must have been great indeed. And the sound grew louder, and my anger became greater and more painful. It was more than anger. It was the quiet night. In the dark silence of the bedroom, my anger became fear, for the heart was beating so loudly that I was sure someone must have heard. The time had come. I rushed in the room crying, "Die! Die!" The old man gave a loud cry, and fear fell upon him, and I held the bed covers tightly over his head. Still, his heart was beating, but I smiled as I felt that success was near. For many minutes, that heart continued to beat, but at last, the beating stopped. The old man was dead! I looked and I took away the covers and I held my ears over his heart. There was no sound. Yes, he was dead! Dead as a stone! Yes, my eyes, no one troubled me! So I'm mad, you say. You should have seen how carefully I was to put the body where no one could find it. First I cut off the head, then the arms and the legs, and I was careful not to let a single drop of blood fall on the floor. I pulled up 3 of the boards that formed the floor and put the pieces of the board and the body there. Then I put the boards down again, carefully, so carefully, that no human eye could see that they had been moved. As I finished this work, I heard that someone was at the door. It was now 4 a.m, but it was still dark. I had no fear, however, as I went down to open the door. 3 men at the door, 3 officers of the police. One of the neighbors had heard the old man cry and called the police. These 3 had come to ask questions and to search the house. I asked the policeman to come in. The cry, I said, was my own in a dream. The old man, I said, was away. He had gone to visit a friend in the country. I took them through the whole house, telling them to search it well. I led them finally to the old man's bedroom. As if playing a game with them, I asked them to sit down and talk for a while. My easy, quiet manner made the policemen believe my story. So they sat talking with me in a friendly way. But although I answered them in the same way, I soon wished that they would go. My head hurt, and there was a strange sound in my ears. I talked more and faster. The sound became clearer, and still they sat there and talked. Suddenly, I knew that sound was not in my ears. It was not just inside my head. At that moment, I must have become quite white. I talked still faster and louder, and the sound became louder. It was quick, low, soft sound, like the sound of a clog heard through a wall. A sound I knew well. Louder it became, and louder. Why did the men not go? Louder, louder. I stood up and walked away quickly through the room. I pushed my chair across the floor to make more noise to cover the terrible sound. I talked louder, and still the men sat there and talked and smiled. Was it possible they could not hear? No, they heard. I was certain of it. They knew. Now it was they who were playing a game with me. I was suffering more than I could bear from their smiles, from that sound. Louder, louder, louder. Suddenly I could bear it no longer. I pointed at the boards and I cried, yes, yes, I killed him. Pull up the boards and you shall see I killed him. But why does his heart not stop beating? Why does it not stop?
That was not a good bedtime story.
That was an impressive performance by Hope.
Yeah, that was awesome. I've never heard that story but told with like that much energy. That was crazy.
Yeah, gave me the chills. That was spooky. A great addition to our Halloween show.
All right, let's get back to the library for our final round of Silent Library. Back to you, Daniel.
Hey guys, welcome back to the library. For this final round, the stakes are pretty high. And yeah, I guess I should probably go ahead and reveal what that is. So here at Western, we have a tradition, a legend that has become a truth over the years. And that's if you cross underneath the clock tower before you graduate, you instantly die. Well, actually, it's more of like you don't graduate on time, but you may as well instantly combust. So let's go ahead and choose who's going to do that. So go right ahead. Oh, one of them hit the ground. All right, let's go ahead and start unfolding to decide who doesn't graduate on time and has to, take another payment. How's that tuition looking? Solid. Solid? All right. How's the unfolding progress? Can I get a nod? All right. Are you gentlemen ready? Mm-hmm. On 3. 1, 2, 3. And oh my goodness, if you wouldn't have it, look at this. Not only eating the sandwich, but now you have to graduate behind on time or spontaneously combust. Which of those two would you rather do?
Spontaneously combust.
That's a good answer. And how do you feel about that?
Great.
Do you want to know what's on the other side?
No.
I hear it's all darkness. Anyway, yeah. So that was the end of the round. Are you guys feeling good? That's right. You better stay quiet. All right. So we're back at the clock tower with Mr. Andrew for his final punishment. Andrew, are you ready for total annihilation?
I am. It's time.
And what might your last words be?
I was going to fail out anyways.
All right. Well, hopefully he just doesn't graduate on time. That would probably be better than instant death. But in case it is instant death, we've already filled out the paperwork and we're clear. All right. Well, are you ready, Mr. Andrew?
I am.